I also have a 16mm lens, which is a fisheye, and I use that quite a bit as well because of the magnification that 1.3 onto a 1735 makes it something like a 20 something, and so it's no longer that wide, and it's still wide, but it's not as wide. So when you're in the scrum at the end of the game, and you're trying to get that picture where, you know, the two top players, the two quarterbacks, let's say, like at this year's Super Bowl, when they're coming together and there are hundreds of people running around on that field and you need to get in close and you really can't control how close you get, this comes in handy because you could be standing half a foot from the players, and if you're on this thing, a 1735, you will cut off either one player or the other. So this is pretty important to have at the end of the game. Now, some people still go in with this, but I think you're not going to get the image or the photo that you want if you're going in a little too tight, because you inevitably cut off people, and you cannot control how close you get to the players. It also gives you a different look because it is rounded on the edges. This works in net cams as well. We put a camera in the NHL hockey nets, and this is in a box, fired on a remote. And because of how wide it is, you can get from edge to edge on the posts in an NHL net. So it's a pretty good lens, and it's not that much money, maybe to some people, but it's about $600 or $700. And typically these lenses cost a lot more than this, maybe double or even 10 times the price. So this is a good investment. I use a Canon 580 EZ flash, and I have a power pack. It's a Canon power pack that is really handy. This holds 4 batteries, this holds 8. It plugs in here, and because I use my flashes quite sparingly, I don't need the big power pack like some of the other entertainment photographers or people who use flash all the time, like wedding photographers or whatever. This still charges my battery or my flash quicker than just the standard batteries, and that helps when you're in a scrum or in a situation where you're not going to get that many chances to get that many frames. So this is pretty important to have as well. I have an off-camera cord. Actually, I just bought this recently. It's a good thing to have. I have a spare battery for my cameras. Now these batteries last a long time, longer than the previous camera, the Canon Mark II. I mean, you can shoot, I can't remember, maybe 5, 6 assignments and not have to charge your battery because these cameras go, or the batteries go a long time. So I only carry 1 spare. In the past, I used to carry 2 or 3 or 4 spares, but now I can carry 1 because they do go for such a long time. I have flashcards here, and I have about 10 cards. I carry 2 cards that are 4 gigs, so you can shoot a lot more images. And when I'm working alone, I can easily shoot the game and then download the card and then put it back into my camera. Now the reason I carry more than a few cards is because when we're working in big groups for bigger events, Super Bowl, Olympics, any event where there's high interest and we're concerned about deadlines. So we want to get the pictures into the hands of the editors right away. So we have to have extra cards. So when we do those drops that we have, I can take the card out of the camera, give it to the editor or the runner, and then I can put another card back into the camera. And I don't need, at that point, I don't really need a big card because of how frequently we're transmitting. So let's say in a Super Bowl, we'll transmit after the very first little bit, and then we'll transmit every so often, and then immediately when there's a score. So in the first half, we might do about maybe five or six drops. And so when I give the card off, the runner takes it and takes it back to the editing compound. And if they don't remember or what have you, they might not come back with your card. So there's, there've been cases where you have to worry about how many cards you have in your wallet. So, if you have extra cards, that alleviates a little bit of that worry. But at the same time, you have to remind your runner to bring back some empty cards, because at some point you will run out, even if you do have 10. 90% of the work that I do is, maybe even more, maybe 95%, is shot on JPEG. All the images are shot on JPEG. There are cases where a client requests a raw image, in which case, again, you'll need cards that have 2 gigs, 4 gigs, or what have you, just to not have to worry about changing cards. I have this little pouch, and this just has little bits. It has an air blower for my camera, just to clean dust or the lenses. And then I have a cable lock for my computer. This is pretty important, not so much in this country, but in other countries. When you go to some places, you have to worry about your gear. I don't always lock my computer, but when I go to places, foreign countries, I worry a little bit more, and I always lock my computer there. One feature that I do like about this bag, speaking of locks, is that you can lock this bag. You can lock it from the zippers, from this top zipper to this back zipper. You can lock the camera, and then there's also, the camera case, and there's also a compartment in the back here that has a cable, and that way you can secure it to a desk or wherever you may be. You have a lock. It doesn't come with a lock. You got to buy the lock, but you can secure this bag and lock the bag up here so that no one can get it when you have to leave it. Because a lot of times you leave your bag in a media room, and most times it's secure and you don't have to think twice, but other times you do have to worry, or you may not be in a media area with a guard. So in that case, it's always a good idea to lock your case. To recap, I've got, this is my main lens. It's a 400mm 2.8 Canon lens. You got 2 Mark III bodies, have an 80-200. There's a 17-35, a 28-70 here, a 1.4 converter, a 16mm fisheye, a flash, a Canon flash with 580 EZ with a Canon battery pack, external pack, one off the mount hot shoe for your flash, one extra battery, case for all the cards, and my trusty blower, of course. Oh, and don't forget a good monopod. Good monopod. Oh, and the bag. The bag's a good thing from Think Tank. Do like them. I didn't get it free. They didn't tell me to say that, but it is a good bag. Oh, actually, no, I did get it free. Getty paid for it, but nonetheless, it's a good bag. Highly endorse it. I guess that's it.